most people have the wrong mindset when it comes to the modern era of life because most people still have the mindset. In fact, everybody still has a brain that was made 6,000 years ago or whatever. And that brain really hasn't changed that much. Now, of course, humans may do things differently, but we still think very similar to how we thought 6,000 years ago. And that thinking is we want to conserve as much energy as possible. Because humans naturally believe that their energy is going to be limited and that they're going to struggle to find more energy. And so they want to conserve as much energy as possible because in the future they might die if they use up all the energy now and they can't find any more energy, which makes sense. But in the modern era, energy is incredibly easy to find. Just go to the grocery store. If you live with your parents, you have a pantry, you have a fridge. Energy is very, very easy to find. There is no worry whatsoever that you will run out of energy. There's always going to be energy for you to find, and relatively close to you as well. And so people still have that belief that they need to conserve energy. So that's why not everybody doesn't go to the gym because their natural brain is like, that's going to be difficult. That's going to use up energy. And so why would I do that if it's not required to get more energy? So the brain's thinking, what's the most effective way that I can spend as little energy as possible while getting as much energy as possible or getting enough energy? But like I said earlier, we have infinite energy. So you no longer need to think about how much energy we're spending because we have infinite energy. And so laziness, if you understand that and you're still lazy, it's because you don't want to work, you don't want to do difficult things. And most people don't want to do difficult things. But I'm going to explain this to you in a way that hopefully you can understand, and this is going to change your point of view. Most people are going down a route where they go to school for 13 years or whatever. They go to college for a few years, get in a bunch of debt. They work a job for the rest of their lives, constantly worrying about the bills, which spends energy, constantly fearing bankruptcy or fearing that they might lose their house, etc., etc. That's fear and worry. Gonna spend calories, lots of energy. So you either suffer as someone working a job, someone who's poor, or you suffer as someone who's running a business, but you're not worrying about losing your house. Maybe you're worrying about making less money. Maybe you're worrying that you're not working hard enough. But those are good types of worries. You should worry that you're not working hard enough because that's going to make you work even more. And in a world where you can obtain large quantities of energy very quickly, working very hard is not going to be a bad thing. It's going to be a 100% beneficial thing. I have never met somebody who works as hard as they could, who is consistent, and who is doing the right task that is not successful. In fact, you don't even need to be doing the right type of business. If you're running any type of business and you're A, working as hard as possible, and B, you're consistent every day, you will find success. It's not a matter of if you'll find success, it's a matter of when you will find success. And those are the 3 keys to success. I made a video before this, maybe it was a few weeks ago. I made a video, the 3 keys of success. It's hard work, consistency, and doing the right thing, righteousness. And if you do those 3 things, you will make large amounts of money very quickly. When I say very quickly, I mean maybe it'll take you a few months, maybe a few weeks. Some people will start making money today if they start doing the right things. But for most people, it'll probably take you a few weeks to start making money if you're working as hard as possible. If you're working every single day for hours and hours and hours, every single day, and you're doing that for weeks and weeks and weeks, you will find success eventually. Eventually, you will find success. And so here are some mindset things that you need to adopt. The first thing is giving up. I posted a tweet about this earlier. And if you drive 95 miles out of 100 miles, so you started at 0, You said, I'm going to drive 100 miles. And then you go 95 or 97 or 99 miles. You wouldn't just turn around. You'd be like, oh, well, I couldn't do it. No, you were 1 mile off. You were 5 miles off, 3 miles off, whatever. You were in less than 5% of the way, or you were 95% of the way to the finish line. You had 5% left to go. And you're just going to give up right there. And here's the thing about working hard. It's difficult. And you're going to question yourself. You're going to question, why am I doing this? Why am I working hard? What am I going to gain from this? What's the point? What's the meaning? You're going to question these things. And it's not really that what you're doing is bad. It's that your brain wants to do something else. Your brain wants entertainment. It wants constant stimulation. Because when you go from watching YouTube shorts or TikTok or Reels or whatever you want to call them, they're all the same thing at the end of the day. When you go from watching those things and getting high amounts of dopamine, and you go from that to boring work, it's very difficult to stay consistent. And so likely, you'll get a percentage of the way to success, maybe even 90%, 80% the way to success. And then you'll start questioning yourself, and you'll start rethinking your previous beliefs. And you go, oh, this isn't for me. Oh, it's too difficult. Oh, I'm not going to gain success. Oh, I'm not seeing success. And those type of beliefs, even if you don't believe them that day, in a week, in a month, in a year, eventually those beliefs are going to catch up to you. Because whenever you think something in your brain for a long enough time, let's say you believe that all apples are red, and somebody tells you that some apples are green, but you still believe that all apples are red. If you keep thinking that every single day, oh, some apples are green, you tell yourself that every single day, eventually that will actually become your belief. Even if you don't believe it, I'm trying to explain something. Even if you do not believe that some apples are green, if you tell yourself it every single day, eventually you're going to believe it. It's not a matter of like, well, if I tell myself other things. No, if you tell yourself every single day that apples are green, but you still believe that all apples are red, eventually you're going to believe it, no matter what. And so this is a superpower that you can use. You can use this to your advantage by whenever you wake up, in the first 10 minutes of you waking up, if you start telling yourself, I'm strong, I'm taller, I eat healthy. If you tell yourself these things, eventually they are either going to become your beliefs or they're going to become your actions, which are going to make them your belief. So no matter what, if you tell yourself something every single day, eventually that's going to become your belief. And another mindset thing you need to develop. Poor people think that they're working too hard, and rich people think that they're not working enough. And this isn't necessarily because of money. It's because of their mindset. Rich people and poor people have different mindsets. And if you develop the mindset that you're not working enough, even if you're working 23 hours and 59 minutes in a day, and you still believe that you could have done more in that day, that you could have worked 1 extra minute. Now, of course, you have to sleep eventually. But that's a great mindset to have. Because if you have that type of mindset where you're like, yeah, I'm going to stay up for an entire day and work the entire day, likely you're only sleeping just enough to where you can work. Just enough to where while you're working, you fall asleep. And maybe that's not the healthiest mindset, and that's definitely not what I'm recommending. But that type of mindset is going to get you success. If you believe, if I work 16 hours a day, if I nonstop work 16 hours a day, let's say you do that. And then you're like, oh, well, I could have worked 10 extra minutes, or I could have done this quicker, or I could have done this thing and that thing. That type of mindset is going to get you success. But if a poor person works 10 hours a day, they'll be, oh, I worked 10 hours today. I need a nap. I need a rest. I need to take breaks in between it next time. And that's why they're poor. It's because they don't realize the requirements for success. And some of them do. And if they do, they think that the requirements for success can be easily met. Oh, consistency. Oh, that means I just do it like once a day. Or if it's consistent if I do it 1 hour a day. Oh, hard work. Oh, I can do 30 minutes of hard work every single day, and then I'll become successful. That's not what I mean. When I say hard work, I mean working for hours. And then at the end of the day, you say, okay, I worked for 3 hours. I made a YouTube video. I made some tweets. I made this. I did this. I did that. Now, tomorrow, how can I do that task that took me 3 hours? How can I do it in 2 hours and 50 minutes? In 2 hours and 40 minutes? In 2 hours and 1 hour? And once you build these systems, becoming successful is very easy. If you have systems, let's say you work 16 hours. If you're working 16 hours, you can probably find a way to cut off an hour. But if you're hard working, you're going to replace that hour with more work. And the more work you do, if you're doing the right thing, the more work you do, the more success you're going to get.